I changed a pile of stuff up. A lot of things I didn't change. Hopefully you'll learn from this and pick up a few tips and tricks of your own. Now I'm just going to walk through and describe these things. There are some things I've been using for years I love, but the main point is just take notes of the things I did and it'll make a lot more sense to you. I'm going to be using this. I still have this thing. This is the Movi for the phone, and to this day, despite all the other little phone stabilizers, it's the best for my arm and it does the job. Let's go take a look around. I'll narrate this onto the phone, so the audio isn't going to be awesome, but hey, you get what you pay for, right? All right, here we are. Now, I'm not going to worry about white balance. I'm not going to worry about locking this down. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to show you what I got going on here. The audio on the phone is probably going to be terrible, but I don't care. Now, the first thing I did was over in the studio is I went through and set everything up that I needed. What I needed is I needed something to live stream. I wanted to live stream. I wanted to have everything at my hands. I wanted cables and cords and things out of my way. Now, if you'll notice, let me pan down to the floor here. Now, if you'll notice, there's hardly any cords down here. And the reason for that, the reason why I put those 2, 3 down there is because I want it so when I decide to vacuum or someone comes in to vacuum, they don't have to worry about stuff being on the floor. Let's take a look again. If you look down here, that's just my drum set. You'll see that pedal and that bass pedal, that comes up easily. And you just look at the floor and you'll see this one pad here. You won't see cords. I go so far as taking cords and actually shoving them and running them under the baseboards. That's the one for the light up here. And then over here, I have this camera that's running down. I've even gone so far as to mount that up a little bit off the baseboard and then run things through the baseboard. They're either hanging up or they're running through the baseboard. And the reason for that, again, is so when I'm cleaning or I'm running some sort of vacuum or the lady comes in and cleans, she doesn't have to worry about it. She doesn't have to worry about the gear and all that. Now over here at this live streaming station, I really hated the fact that there were cords. There's something like 21 cords. And if you look under here, that looks like a crazy mess, but that's pretty good. Basically, I have a power strip which runs through one of those. These all run up here. There's the laptop. We have more cords coming out of here, and they're all run under the desk using these little plastic runs here. And that just keeps them good. Come down here, again, things run down. They run down this channel here, and they go into this. The reason why I wanted to do that is because this guy right here, which has one power strip, everything's plugged into that. And then this guy over here, another power strip, I can just reach under there, excuse me, and hit the on-off button and everything goes off. Same with that over there. 2 switches and I'm done. Now as far as lights, I have a light up here. It's an Aputure light, which is shining over here. That's basically my fill light. I have a D&O light up here, which is my key light. I don't really use a backlight. I do have a blue light over there hitting on the background. And that's enough to separate me from the wall. Now again, notice when you come over here, no light stand. That's sitting on one of these brackets. It runs down the wall. Same with this guy over here. I have no light stand sitting here. I just run it on one of these brackets. These are extendable. You'll see that in the other room. And again, I run the cord down here. Then down below, I run it under the baseboard. That way I can vacuum, that way I can clean things, and that way somebody else coming in here cleaning things or vacuums isn't scared of using this. Now for my one camera, my live streams, I have the XF400. I love it. It's a camcorder and it rocks. It's 4K and it rocks. It basically is powered. It's sitting on an iFootage monopod, which is a beast. I've done a review of that. You come up to the XF400. The HDMI out goes to this HDMI transmitter. Now the reason why I'm using a transmitter is because I don't want to run an HDMI cord from here over to here into my ATEM Mini Pro. So this guy simply transmits a single signal over to this guy sitting here, and then I run the cord over, and that way I'm cordless. Everything's clear this way, which is fantastic for me. I don't want to be tripping on cords. It's just one more thing that gets in my way. Now over here, of course, we have guitars and blings and drum sets and all that. I just have this cheap little light sitting down here. It's a little Home Depot light with a little $4 blue LED bulb. And then over here I have this little drum set. I decided to throw a bulb up there. There's some of my Battlestar Galactica bling. I love that stuff. And I just throw some blue light up on this background. Now the way this works over here is I have my chair sitting here. There's my computer, and it's basically a U desk. And there's a reason for that. When I sit down on this thing, I just flip around, and then I move myself in, and I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to do whatever I'm going to do. Now over here, I have my computer. It's set up right now with OBS, which I love, by the way. That's a Alienware Area 51M, which I love. There's the ATEM Mini Pro, which I'm running 2 into right now, and I'll show you why. And then over here, I have my beautiful, lovely, love it to death. I think it's a 36-inch curved monitor, also Alienware. That allows me, that light's terrible. See how it's curved? That allows me to really look at it no matter what perspective I'm looking at and be able to edit. And I can put a lot onto that screen. That probably doubled my ability to edit when I first got it. It took me a little time to get used to it, but once I will never go back to a flat monitor ever again. Over here we have the MixPre 3. Down below that, that's just a 12 terabyte hard drive, which is inactive right now. I use that for backups. I'm currently using a Stream Deck for doing some switching, which is pretty cool. I'm going to move to something else. I can basically go over here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to stream. And there's all my functions for streaming. Here's my Shure SM7B that's sitting on an arm. When I'm just trying to get ready to stream, I just throw this over here, talk into it, put it over here. That cable runs down there into the MixPre 3. Coming out of the MixPre 3, that cable runs down and through that gray thing on the floor, under the baseboard, up over into the XF400 over there. And then it takes that signal, the audio and the video signal, from there and transmits it over here. If you're wondering why I do that, is because if you film on a camera into your computer and you run a direct line from your microphone into your computer, there's going to be some offset. You're going to have to mess with that, and I didn't want to play with it. I wanted a clean signal coming into my computer and into the ATEM Mini Pro into the computer, so if I had any problems, I could debug it. And I did have a problem, and I was able to debug it. Now, if I turn to my right, there's just some little things that make me happy. This little guy right here, I always had my headphones on the desk. It was a pain in the butt. This was like $9 or $12 or something. It's a place to put your headphones. A bunch of other stuff, some bling. Oh yeah, here's my bullshit meter.
Warning, bullshit alert.
My remotes. This controls the big D&O light over there. This controls the back blue lights and lights over on this table over here at my B-roll area. And then over here, this controls the aperture light, and I have plenty left open if I want to add more lights, but I'm not going to. Right here, well, I got more Battlestar Galactica bling. Right here I keep my coffee. Right here I keep my water. I keep them here all the time. I already went through, if you saw my social media or one of my videos, I already went through and used to keep this thing right here while I was live streaming. I dumped the water on the laptop. It was a freaking disaster. Fortunately, it dried out. Fortunately, it still works. And fortunately, it's quite awesome. Down under here, part of this desk is, I just have some extra paper and stuff like that in case I need it. And of course, all my pens and things, little things for iPhone jacks, which you need a lot, just stuff I might need, iPhone cords. And then over on this area, this is where I do an overhead shot of smaller objects. That's where I plan, and when I'm done planning, I just pull out the drawer below this, throw that over here, and I'm ready to go. Table all clean. Well, if you notice over here, I'm currently sitting in the chair. You can see me over there. When I press this button over here, number 2, I get the overhead camera like that. There's the overhead camera. Hello, overhead camera. The way this is set up, again, I've got all the cords and everything set up. The way this is set up is I have a remote here because this camera will zoom up and down. I also have a remote sitting over here for the XF400 because that will zoom in and out for me, and I can just set some things the way I want it. Now I have this rig here. It's basically aluminum rig, square, and it actually was from Glidegear, and it didn't work for me. I had to do all this rigging and special stuff to get it to work, and I just didn't want to review it. I was going to send it back to them. I don't think they wanted it back. This was sitting out in my things to either donate to a school or something, and when I went with live stream, I went, hey, this may work. Now what I did over here was I mounted Canon, I believe it's an XA10. I was very lucky to get this camcorder from B&H. It's a $2,500 camcorder. It was on sale for $799, and I really wanted an overhead cam that would zoom in and out so I could do really close-up work down here and be able to zoom into small parts and zoom out and stuff like that. I've mounted a light onto the camera. This just happens to be a Pocket F7 from, I think it's not Feiyu, it's Feel World. I forget who it is. Whoever those guys are. Sorry, guys. That's really bad that I don't know. Yeah, it's a Canon GX10, excuse me. And that light I can just turn on and I can light this surface. Usually I turn off all the lights when I'm lighting the surface. Usually turn off all the lights. That just goes like that. Turns off. That turns on. It'll do all sorts of things, RGB, and it'll do flashing and everything else. I do have this thing loaded here. I do not like batteries. I run everything over here. I have the Canon running into a cord here. I have the light running into a cord here. Those all go down this channel and then out to the plug. I do not use batteries in here anywhere for anything. If I'm out shooting somewhere, sure, I'll use batteries, but I don't want to play with batteries. Think about it. If I had to deal with batteries, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else do I have? There'd be 6 batteries just here I'd have to deal with, and it goes on. Let's move over to the B-roll table, and I'll show you what I have. This is the B-roll table. There are some things to do. That blue background usually works totally fine for a product. It's usually sitting here like this, or I change it to white. You're not supposed to see what that is, by the way. And I want to get something that's wider. I never use that window, so it doesn't matter to me. You'll notice these blackout shades. This was a test. I have them everywhere in this studio. I don't want any light coming from outside, coming into where I'm shooting, and then I can't control it and it's moving and everything else. These are just paper shades. They're about 10 bucks, 15 bucks, and you cut them. Now that I've proven this works, I'll get some real blackout shades and it should be fine. Back over to the B-roll table. That's the B-roll table. You'll notice, again, very little amount of cords down there. That's the AC remote, so I can just turn on this giant light up here, which is from, man, I'm really sorry, guys. Falconeyes, that's it. This is from Falconeyes. Poor Falconeyes. As is this little light is from Falconeyes. So I have the B-roll table set up, and then I just have another camera sitting over here, waiting to film something. And then this little guy, which you're also not supposed to see right now, but that's okay. Again, if you look down, no cords. These cords here are made so I can go down and they're hanging. I can just take this camera and that whole rig, unplug it and move it, or I can dismount the charger for this camera and off I go, and I don't have to worry about it. The same thing over here for this laptop. This may look like a mess of cords and everything else. This has two inputs, 180 watt and a 240 watt. I can just unplug this 180 watt, which is fixed down here, the secondary screen, which is sitting over here, that big whoop butt curved monitor. And now I have left to use is the 240 watt here. Well, it's very simple. I set it up so I just unplug this, unplug the 240 watt, come over here and undock this guy, unplug it from here when I'm done. So it basically takes me a few seconds to take this off. Then I can take this laptop and that wireless mouse, take it downstairs with me to my deck or my counter or whatever, and I can work elsewhere and I don't have to be in this room. And of course, bling. This is just bling. Just stuff that makes me happy, stuff that keeps me entertained, stuff I can look at while I'm in here editing, various posters, awards, and everything else. That's that area. Very well, yeah, there's also a closet. I'm lucky enough to have this closet here. I rarely use it. I do keep some things in here. For instance, if I need a slider, over at that B-roll table, I just open the closet. There's a slider sitting there. That's cool. Oh yeah, and this is my Battlestar Galactica Viper jacket. If you want to buy that, I hope you have a really expensive credit card. And just some other bling. These are like collector's items, Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars stuff. $10 case that I really, really like. And just some other things. Down here I have, for instance, my DJI case, which contains everything. And then just some, what do you call that? Whiteboard, cork board, some kind of board. It's that 1/8" stuff. Same thing I'm using over here at the B-roll area. Now, I'm able to come in here with the way this is set up, and I'm able to just sit down, spin around, go into OBS, start shooting and recording, or record the monitor over there if I'm doing a tutorial, and I don't have to worry about it. I turn everything on, I go, I turn everything off, and I'm done. Let's go into this next area. So down here, that's a whiteboard, which I absolutely love. I'm not going to show you. It has all my plans and things I'm doing and videos I'm working on and courses at the university and what I'm trying to do. Behind there, I have hanging. I just put a little blue screen on here. It's also, I don't know if you can see that, there's also a green screen on the back in case I need it. And there is a place to do that. Again, more bling, movie posters, things that make me happy. I'm really lucky up in this area to have a bathroom. Hey there. Shower, which I never use, of course. The John, etc. This is nice because I can come in here. If I need to go to the bathroom, I don't have to go all the way downstairs. If I need to wash my hands or touch up my hair or something like that, I have a bathroom up here. Or if we have guests, they have a place to use a bathroom, which is kind of nice. We rarely have guests. It's really nice having this. I'm really, really lucky to have that. In this area over here, this is my shelf. It's maybe an $80 shelf. You put it together. It's stainless steel. I have these out in the garage. They don't rust. I've gone through and cleaned everything up. These are just some products I'm looking at. A new iFootage head, which you've never heard about or seen. Another one, which I'm going to compare it to. Seastars. I'm going to do a video on how to clean your lenses and what the best cleaning solution is found. Some other stuff here. Something from AnyCine down here. I am still working on my review of the Deity lapel mics, the WLav and the WLav Pro. These things are awesome. That's taking a while because there's a lot to it. I want to dial it in perfectly because I want to use these for the rest of my life. Another product, a Quing, and then some more iFootage down here. When I organized this and I got everything together, I could easily see what I needed to review in what order when they come in. It's just been a godsend being able to do that. Over here, you'll notice I have a backlight sitting right there. All it does is it throws a little swash of light over there. I love these. I use these all the time. These are these little remote controls that I use. And if you look down here, I just hit the button, off, hit the button, on. They'll work with anything. So when I come in here, I don't have to deal with the light. Everything's set up. I just hit the button, boink, hit the button, boink, turns on, I get my backlight, and I'm done. Let's set that back. This is my Aputure controller. I have 3 lights that I'm still using. They have some new lights out that I want to replace these with. I've been using these for years. These are the Tri-8s. They are a beast, and I love them. You'll notice some batteries back there. That's because it has 2 battery slots on each one, and I use them to recharge my batteries. This guy here, a number of people have bought these. They're giant stands. They allow me to adjust my lights in and out, up and down, however I want them. That's my fill light. If you come over here, excuse me, that's my key light. If you come over here, you'll see my fill light sitting up here. Again, it's on one of those stands, and you'll notice cord down the wall, comes down below, plugs into the wall. Same over here. I have this thing sitting up here, cord, I leave some length because these go in and out and everything else. That comes down here, plug in the wall. Nothing on the floor. There's no cords sitting on the floor, which is important to me. Over here, you'll notice I have 1 cord here, and again, I run that under the baseboard. That comes over here, and it runs up the tripod. I can do that because I never move this tripod, ever. That sucker is fixed, and I don't want it going anywhere. On there, I have my trusty dusty 5D Mark III sitting there, right there, which it's just been awesome. It's never failed me. That's a MixPre 3, which you can see it is on right now. And of course, up here, I have a Portkeys monitor, which I love. It powers differently. I have a 95 watt battery up here. I don't use that because I use battery. I use that because it's really convenient with the way it's configured, and I won't get into all that. Of course, sitting down here is a set of headphones coming out of the MixPre 3, always, 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 to check my audio. And then down here, I have a C-stand. Now, someone's going to come along and say, hey, you have your sandbags improperly mounted and the way your C-stand is, and yada, yada, yada. I don't care. So this guy comes up like this. That goes into the MixPre 3. If you look up, it's sitting up here, and there is a little coupler right there that holds this boom pole. Now this boom pole is sitting out here like a long, long way because it's sitting over me holding this Rode NTG3. Let's see if I can give you a better shot of this. So if you look at this thing, that's quite a distance. That's about 6, 7 foot, maybe 8 foot. All the weight sitting over this way, which is why I run the C-stand that way with the furthest leg out this way and the sandbags on the back legs so it doesn't fall over. Question answered. These guys over here, some sound deadening things, they sort of work, they sort of don't. Back here I have this TV, which I'm going to run an HDMI signal to. It has a little stand on it. Has wheels. I'm not sure what I'm going to use that for yet. I'm still playing with it. I cleaned all the bling and crap out of here. This is simply a cloth wall. I bought this from Kate, I believe. Really, really nice. It's brick. And what happens is it's a bit blurry from far away, which is nice. Has a bit of a blur, so it looks like it gives it some depth. And the reason why I did that is because if you look behind this wall, when I first set up here, I have this line going right down here, which went right through my head, and besides, the wall looks yucky. All I did was I set up this guy on 2 light stands, and it's awesome. All right, let's come over here. Oh, let's not forget the other Tri-8, and this is the colored one, which is sitting up here again on one of those stands. Just sitting on that bracket, that's my hair light. It's beautiful because I can walk into here, excuse my finger, I can walk into here and I can just turn that off, I can turn that off, and I can turn that off. Boop, boop, boop. Normally, I wouldn't run with these overhead lights on. I would just try to show you what it looks like. Yeah, that's quite a difference. Turn that on, and then turn on the overhead light, and I'm ready to go. And that little light over there. So that's what it normally looks like, but I'm gonna leave these crummy yellow lights on just to show you what's going on. I keep those sitting over here, always. There's my, that's for me getting focus remotely, so I could stand over there. There's my light thing. There's my other thing for turning that other light on the background on. On this wall, I just keep some things that I like. For instance, this I'll use, that's a color checker, X-Rite, which I use from time to time quite a bit. This is also a color balance thing, and then the slate, it just makes me happy. Everything else is bling. These little shells were cheap. They don't have any brackets or anything else. It's just some beer, Grinch beer. I, of course, have Battlestar Galactica shirt. That's my Mavic. It just looks cool up there. Some more Battlestar Galactica stuff there. Battlestar Galactica uniform. That is a Warhammer 40K bolter that was made. That is a chainsaw that was made. Here is my Cylon. I even have this going on.
Our raiders are still engaged against the Galactica. By your command.
Just something to look at. Nice stuff. Allows me to geek out. Little Master Chief up there. Battlestar Galactica stuff. This goofy little thing, it looks really stupid. It looks like a toy. There's like 2,000 of them made. So it's kind of a collector item. And of course my Battlestar Galactica glass cup holders. I have these here because, again, after my accident with my computer, I went coffee and water goes here, nowhere else. And this was a fun little thing. Some guy, I used to make funny comments about those commies and everything else, communists, back in the 60s. And he ended up getting me this pack of cigarettes from communist Russia, I believe. And then also this General Mao, I forget what it's called thing. I just keep it because it was cute and I like it. Down here, I just throw a few of my light stands and stuff around. Down here, this is the FeiyuTech AK4500. When I get back outside, this thing is awesome. Now, one of the cool things I did over here was I bought these shelves, and they are great. They're on rollers, and I bought some with these drawers like this that are deeper, and these regular drawers, and I went through and labeled every single one of them. I have some audio recorders there. I have some lapel mics. I have the Mix Pre 3 stuff, HDMI cables, clips, my quick release plates. All my batteries are sitting in there. All my lenses are sitting in there. If I need an audio cable, there's my audio cables. It just made so much sense to me. Now again, the other thing is, let's look at the floor again. You'll see there are no cables or wires sitting on the carpet, with a few exceptions. And the reason for that, again, is if someone comes in here and decides they want to vacuum or sweep or something like that, there is going to be no problem anywhere with somebody cleaning up this area, and it's nice to be clean. Now, going through this thing, I originally intended to take this whole studio, let's not forget this little bench. This little bench also on wheels. See, when you vacuum, you can just move these things out of the way. This little bench is on wheels. I can use this and move this over to here when I'm filming. Right there when I'm filming. Down below, you'll see this little T guy. That's where I put my foot. I know when I put my foot there, up there, I will be perfectly in focus and framed, or it doesn't take much if I put my foot back here, then I know I still will be in frame and everything will be cool. That's what that's for. So I just grab that bench, I move it over to here in this area, and then I have a bench where I can demonstrate things and stuff like that. So that's a lot of bling, a lot of stuff. What I did, more of these blackout shades up here, which I'm going to replace with real shades at some point because of the paper shades. And I just want something that really, really cuts out the light now that I proved those. That's about it on this studio. What I learned was I didn't really need to change a lot. This whole area here that you're looking at, look at all that room I have in that back wall. Now, when I pull something out, I can just come out here and pull something out, and I can add things to this background depending on the episode or lights or anything else or tables or whatever. And then it's going to be fine, and I don't have to have something and keep changing it up. It's just a plain background that I can use as I see fit. Now, the biggest thing I learned from this is I don't need to change everything up. What I need to do is make sure I organize everything and mount things on the walls, get all these cables off the floor. I had a hard time. I was getting a hard time coming up here and making videos because it was a pain. I would come up here, there would be stuff all over the place. Would be stuff in my way. I'd have to reset up my studio. That over there was sitting in my B-roll. It was a mess. Now I'm really excited to come up here, and I'm really excited to make videos, and I'm really excited to shoot stuff. The main thing I had to train myself and still have to train myself on is if I'm going to come over here and I'm going to review these tripod heads from iFootage and a few other things that they sent me, I'm going to grab these. I'm going to stick them over here on the table. I'm going to grab whatever tripods I need to show this with or any items. And I come over here, I shoot the video, and when it's all done, what I have to do is I have to take everything, the tripods, any light stands I'm showing, put them away. Any gear or any things that I had that I was using, put them away. The cards, of course, you're going to get them out of your camera and get them to your computer and put them away back there. Any of these items, any things that I'm actually keeping and going to use, I keep. Otherwise, I keep them in a storage area. The trick is to go ahead and do what you're going to do and then put all that stuff away. Anyway, there you go. I don't think I missed anything. That's basically my studio. That's basically what I do. I didn't tell you about this, I guess. I have this. If you go down here, this is the main living area. It's just me and my wife. There's not a lot of people here. This little blanket, I wouldn't even call it a sound blanket, it's a moving blanket. Sometimes you have microwaves or you have things going on downstairs or refrigerators or AC or whatever happening down there. Just by putting this little blanket up here, it absorbs any of the sound coming from down there. I haven't tried this yet. I was thinking about I went ahead and got this little kit. And what it does is it makes these grommets, right? I was thinking about possibly hanging some little hooks up here. And then with those grommets, if I needed to, what I would do is I'd hang some hooks up here. Then I would just grab this blanket and put it over here. And basically it would be a door, sort of like a door sitting here, all the way draped down here to the steps. Like from here down, and then it'd be just like a door and a sound deadener, but I haven't really needed that. It hasn't been that noisy for me. And there you go. I think I've covered everything. My tips would be go through and, like these lights. Take your light stand, set up your lights. Keep setting them up, moving them, dialing in, and getting things exactly where you want them. When you know you're not going to move them, they're exactly where you want them. Then go ahead and mount them to the wall. You don't have to worry about it. Now realize I have some latitude here. These can go in and out quite a bit. They can also move in and out from the wall like this quite a bit. So I have some latitude here, but don't go mounting lights and going, oops, or you're going to have holes in your wall all over the place. In fact, I can show you that one because I made quite a few mistakes. I thought I was going to need a light in this area way up here. Look at that. I've already filled those. I need to touch them up with paint. And way up there, I don't know if you can see them way up there, there's a couple of holes in there that I need to fill. And then I just run some paint over there. That's just me making a mistake. There's another sideways poster. There's 4 holes behind here. Anyway, you don't want to do that. So the things I have left to do and the things that I want to do, I want to get some sort of area there. I want that to cover. And it's probably, I want a white, blue, gray, probably area like that. I already bought this stuff. This is just shelf cover. And it has different textures that I can use on it. It's very thin and it doesn't slip. I might do that for this B-roll table, depending on what I have. If I have a white product, I want to put it on something against a darker background and vice versa. And there you go. I hope you learned some stuff from this. I learned a ton of things, which is A, this inclination to go through and change everything is not necessarily the right thing to do unless you just want to change everything and spend a bunch of money doing it. Secondly, putting order into an area, putting things away, having places for things where you get them, and more importantly, when you take them out and use them at the end of a shooting day, you're not done until you put everything back in its proper place. You will save hours, days, weeks, sometimes months over a period of years by just keeping everything organized and having its own place for its own thing. Don't forget, I have 6 free courses over at Basic Filmmaker University. More coming. Sign up now and go get them. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Wow, the one thing I haven't handled yet is the AC. Right now downstairs, it's about 70 degrees in the house. I swear it must be 80 degrees up here. I'm sweating bullets. I don't know how to handle this AC thing. I tried setting downstairs and closing all the vents and setting the AC on. So up here works because it's all in one system. I may have to install another system, or I may have to get one of those stupid, cheap, whatever air conditioners. If you know of an air conditioner that's quiet and will actually cool the room, let me know in the comments below, okay?